The quantum detection array at Europa Station picked up the signal on a quiet Thursday morning. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the readout, her hands trembling as she verified the signature for the third time. After centuries of searching the stars, humanity had finally detected unambiguous proof of intelligent alien life. "Director Maxwell, you need to see this," she transmitted to Earth Command. "The signal, it's artificial, and it's approaching from Arcturus." Within hours, the entire solar system was on high alert. Humanity had spread across the planets over the past century, establishing colonies and research stations from Mercury to the Kuiper Belt. But despite their technological advancement, they had never encountered another spacefaring civilization. The signal grew stronger over the next few days. Finally, a clear message arrived in simple mathematical sequences. Peaceful contact was desired. The vessel approaching their system called itself a diplomatic mission from the Arcturus Concordat, a coalition of spacefaring species seeking to welcome humanity into the galactic community. Earth's Security Council debated for days. Some argued for caution, others for enthusiasm. In the end, pragmatism won out. They would welcome the aliens but maintain defensive readiness. Humanity had not survived this long by being naive. The diplomatic vessel that arrived was everything they expected from an advanced alien civilization. Its sleek crystalline hull seemed to bend light itself, and its crew of tall, elegant beings called the Arcturians appeared almost too perfect. Their ambassador, who called himself Zarin, spoke of peace, trade, and cultural exchange. "Your species has achieved much in isolation," Zarin said during the first public broadcast. "The Concordat wishes to help humanity reach its full potential among the stars." But Dr. Chen couldn't shake her unease. Something about the quantum signatures she was detecting didn't match the Arcturian story. The background radiation patterns suggested more mass in the system than a single diplomatic vessel should produce. She spent nights analyzing the data, trying to understand what she was missing. The truth revealed itself 3 weeks into the diplomatic mission. During a routine scan, one of Chen's probes detected a massive energy surge at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. The holographic disguise failing, dozens of warships shimmered into view, a full invasion fleet that had been positioning itself while the diplomats kept Earth distracted. At that exact moment, in the United Earth Council chamber in Geneva, Ambassador Zarin's peaceful demeanor vanished. With a gesture, he activated a device hidden within his ceremonial staff. All across Earth and the colonies, communication systems began to fail as viral code attacked the quantum networks. "Your isolation ends today," Zarin announced, his elegant features twisting into something predatory. "The Concordat requires your resources and your world. Resistance would only result in unnecessary destruction." But in his arrogance, Zarin had made a crucial mistake. The Arcturians had assumed that humanity's technological advancement matched what they openly displayed. They'd never suspected that the seemingly primitive quantum detection array that discovered them was only the surface of Earth's true capabilities. As the alien virus attacked Earth's apparent communications network, a separate, isolated quantum defense grid hummed to life. Deep beneath the surface of Ganymede, in hardened bunkers on Mars, and in secret facilities on Earth itself, systems that had been waiting for decades began to power up. Director Maxwell's voice cut through the council chamber, calm and clear despite the chaos. "Ambassador Zarin, humanity has survived countless attempts at our extinction. We've endured ice ages, pandemics, and our own nuclear folly. Did you really think we wouldn't be prepared for this?" The lights in the chamber dimmed, and for the first time, fear flickered across the ambassador's perfect features. In orbit above Earth, hidden defense platforms emerged from their camouflaged positions. Across the solar system, automated response systems activated. Humanity had long suspected their first contact might be hostile, and they had spent generations preparing. The invasion had begun, but not in the way the Arcturians had planned. As their virus found itself trapped in a deliberately vulnerable defensive network, Earth's true military capability was about to reveal itself. The Arcturus Concordat, was about to learn why humanity had survived every catastrophe thrown at them. They never showed their full hand until they had to. In the depths of Cirrus Base, General Maya Rodriguez stood before a quantum hologram displaying the entire solar system. Red dots representing the Arcturus invasion fleet clustered near the Kuiper Belt, while blue markers showed humanity's revealed defensive positions. But it was the green markers, still hidden from enemy sensors, that brought a tight smile to her face. "Initiate Project Cerberus," she commanded. Authorization Sierra 7 Delta. Throughout the solar system, what appeared to be inactive asteroids and space debris began to transform. Surfaces that had mimicked space rock for decades peeled away, revealing sleek weapon platforms and defense stations. The Cerberus system, humanity's true defensive grid, had awakened. On the diplomatic vessel, Ambassador Zarin watched in growing confusion as his tactical displays became flooded with new signatures. "Impossible," he hissed, his perfect features distorting with rage. "Their technological level couldn't hide this from our scans." The first wave of the Arcturus fleet pushed forward, confident in their superior numbers. Their ships, powered by antimatter drives and equipped with graviton weapons, represented the pinnacle of counterattack military might. As they approached Mars orbit, their sensors detected only scattered defensive platforms, easy targets for their initial strike. The Arcturian fleet commander, Valthor, launched the attack. Graviton beams lashed out, intended to crush the human defenses like empty soda cans. But when the beams struck, something unprecedented happened. Instead of crumpling, the platforms absorbed the gravitational energy, their surfaces rippling like liquid metal. "Energy absorption at 100%, reported Dr. Chen from her station on Europa. "Quantum capacitors charging faster than projected. We can thank our friends for the power boost." The platforms that had absorbed the graviton attacks began to pulse with stored energy. Across their surfaces, fractal patterns of light danced in impossible geometries. Humanity had spent decades studying quantum mechanics and energy manipulation, far beyond what they had revealed to the galaxy at large. The counterattack began. From the transformed platforms, beams of concentrated quantum energy struck the Arcturian ships. Where traditional shields would have held, these weapons bypassed defensive barriers by exploiting quantum tunneling. Ships began to disappear from tactical displays, not destroyed but phased partially out of normal spacetime. "What is this sorcery?" Valthor demanded, watching in horror as a third of his advance fleet became quantum entangled with the vacuum of space itself. Deep in the lunar defense complex, Dr. James Harper, the lead architect of Project Cerberus, monitored the system's performance. "The quantum entanglement weapons are exceeding expectations," he reported to General Rodriguez. "The Arcturians relied too heavily on their graviton technology. They never considered we might have developed entirely different approaches to space warfare." But the Arcturus Concordat hadn't become a galactic power through easy victories. As their initial attack faltered, they adapted quickly. The remaining ships of the first wave split into smaller battle groups, attempting to overwhelm the defense grid through sheer numbers and multiple vectors of attack. That's when the second phase of Cerberus revealed itself. The seemingly empty space between planets shimmered as quantum field generators activated. Vast regions of space became navigational nightmares, where the laws of physics could be locally altered. Arcturian ships found their antimatter drives sputtering as quantum fields disrupted their containment systems. "By the eternal stars," Zarin whispered, watching the tactical display from his diplomatic vessel. "They've learned to manipulate spacetime itself." General Rodriguez watched the battle unfold with calculated precision. Humanity had prepared for this moment ever since they first split the atom. While they had presented themselves to the galaxy as a young, developing civilization, they had never stopped innovating, never stopped preparing for the possibility of this very day. But even as Project Cerberus proved its worth, Rodriguez knew this was just the beginning. The bulk of the Arcturus invasion fleet remained at the edge of the solar system, analyzing, adapting, preparing for a more calculated assault. Humanity had revealed some of their defensive capabilities, but not all. Not yet. As the first wave of attackers retreated in disarray, Dr. Chen's quantum detection array picked up massive energy buildups from the main fleet. The Arcturians were preparing something big, something that might overwhelm even the quantum defense grid. But they still didn't know about the ghost fleet hidden in the orbit of Jupiter, or the temporal mines scattered throughout the asteroid belt. The real battle for the solar system was about to begin, and humanity had only begun to show what they were capable of defending their home. The storms of Jupiter raged in the background as Admiral Sarah Hassan watched the Arcturian fleet approach from her command center deep within Europa. The invasion force had regrouped after their initial defeat, and now they were making a push for Jupiter's orbital facilities, humanity's primary source of antimatter fuel and heavy elements. "They think they figured us out," Hassan murmured, studying the enemy formation. The Arcturians had adapted their ship shields to account for quantum entanglement weapons, reconfiguring their entire fleet into a defensive lattice formation that would have been impressive against the technology they'd already seen. Too bad that wasn't all humanity had. "All stations, initiate Protocol Prometheus," Hassan commanded. Throughout Jupiter's orbital space, automated mining platforms and fuel processing stations began systematic shutdown procedures. To the Arcturian sensors, it would appear as if humanity was abandoning their industrial heart. Fleet Commander Valthor observed the shutdowns with satisfaction. "See how they retreat. Their quantum trickery cannot protect everything at once. Once we control Jupiter's resources, Earth will have no choice but to surrender." The Arcturian fleet pressed forward, their formation perfect, their confidence restored. That's when the ice of Europa cracked open. Rising from beneath the frozen surface came humanity's true industrial might. Massive fabrication ships, each the size of a small city, emerged from hidden underwater facilities. These weren't the primitive refineries the Arcturians had observed, but fully automated production centers capable of constructing military hardware in real time. "Combat Fabrication Online," reported Dr. Emily Santos from the primary production control. "Swarm assets deploying." From the fabrication, ships poured streams of small, highly maneuverable drones. Each one contained a miniaturized fusion reactor and advanced AI, but their true power lay in their networked intelligence. Thousands became millions as the fabricators worked at full capacity, the swarm growing exponentially. Valthor's tactical officers watched in horror as their sensor screens became saturated with targets. Impossible. They cannot have hidden such production capacity. But humanity had done more than hide their production. They had revolutionized it. The swarm drones began to combine in flight, assembling themselves into larger combat units using principles of molecular manipulation that the Arcturians had never mastered. What started as simple drones merged into complex warships, their capabilities evolving in real time to counter Arcturian defenses. "Did you think we showed you everything at Mars?" Hassan's voice transmitted across all frequencies. Humanity learned long ago that the best technology isn't just powerful, it's adaptable. The battle erupted across Jupiter's orbital space. Arcturian graviton beams sliced through ranks of swarm units, only to have the damaged units recombine into new configurations. The defensive lattice formation, so effective against quantum weapons, proved vulnerable to attacks from continuously evolving enemies. But the Arcturians were far from defeated. Their capital ships began deploying temporal disruptors, weapons designed to age their targets into dust. The swarm adapted again, individual units sacrificing themselves to create temporal shields, learning from each loss. Deep within Europa's command center, Dr. Chen's quantum detection array picked up a troubling signal. "Admiral, they're positioning ships behind Callisto. Energy readings suggest they're preparing to detonate an antimatter bomb to destabilize Jupiter's magnetic field." Hassan nodded grimly. The Arcturians were desperate enough to risk destroying the very resources they came to steal. Activate the Ganymede defense. On Jupiter's largest moon, automated facilities that had been dormant for decades hummed to life. The Moon's entire magnetosphere shifted, controlled by vast electromagnetic arrays buried beneath its surface. Jupiter's intense radiation, usually a hazard to be avoided, became a weapon under human control. The burst of focused radiation caught the Arcturian ships completely off guard. Shields designed to deflect physical weapons and energy beams provided little protection against the concentrated magnetic storm. Ships tumbled out of formation, their systems overloaded. "This is your final warning," Hassan broadcast. "You attacked us believing we were primitives hiding behind a few advanced weapons. Look around you now. Every moon of Jupiter is a fortress. Every chunk of ice holds a surprise. Leave our solar system, or the next demonstration will not be a warning." The battle hung in balance as the Arcturian command considered their options. They still held numerical superiority, but humanity's industrial capacity and technological sophistication had far exceeded their intelligence reports. More importantly, Earth's defenders had yet to unleash any weapons truly designed for offense rather than defense. As the remains of the Arcturian fleet pulled back to regroup once again, Hassan knew the war was far from over. The enemy would return with new tactics, new weapons, perhaps even reinforcements. But humanity had successfully defended their industrial heart, and with every passing hour, the fabrication ships were producing more surprises. The battle for Jupiter was over, but the true test of humanity's preparation and resolve was still to come. Valthor paced the bridge of his command ship, rage barely contained as he reviewed their losses near Jupiter. The Arcturus Concordat had never suffered such setbacks. Their intelligence had been catastrophically wrong about Earth's capabilities, and now half his fleet was either destroyed or crippled. "Full tactical analysis," he commanded. "Show me everything we know about their defensive positions." A holographic display ignited, showing the solar system in intricate detail. Known human installations glowed in threatening red. The quantum defense grid, Jupiter's industrial complex, the temporal mines scattered through the asteroid belt. But something troubling nagged at the Arcturian commander's tactical mind. There were gaps in their defense coverage, particularly in the outer system. "They're stronger than we thought, but not invincible," Valthor announced to his commanders. "Look here, in the Kuiper belt. Minimal defenses, perfect staging ground for our final assault." On Earth, General Rodriguez watched the Arcturian fleet's movements with grim satisfaction. "They've taken the bait," she transmitted to Admiral Hassan. "Initiate Operation Phantom." Deep in the outer solar system, among the icy bodies of the Kuiper belt, something stirred. What appeared to be dormant comets and frozen rocks began to move with purpose. The Ghost Fleet, humanity's hidden offensive armada, was awakening. These ships represented the pinnacle of human stealth technology. Their hulls weren't merely cloaked. They bent light and gravity around themselves using principles that even the Arcturians hadn't mastered. For decades, they had waited in the cold darkness, disguised as natural objects, powered down to near absolute zero to avoid detection. The first indication that something was wrong came when 3 Arcturian frigates simply vanished from their formation. No debris, no distress calls. They simply ceased to exist. Before Valthor could process this development, 5 more ships disappeared. Energy signatures detected. His sensor officer screamed. "They're everywhere." The Ghost Fleet revealed itself like predators emerging from mist. Their hulls rippled with adaptive camouflage as they shed their icy disguises. Each vessel was unique, designed not just for combat, but for psychological warfare. Their surfaces shifted between solid and translucent, making it impossible to determine their true size or shape. Captain Elena Torres, commander of the Ghost Fleet's lead ship, Shadow of Earth, opened a channel to all frequencies. "You came to our home believing us weak," her voice echoed across space. "You thought our isolation meant vulnerability. Allow us to demonstrate why we chose to remain apart from your Concordat." The ghost ships moved with impossible grace, their drives operating on principles that defied conventional physics. They phased through debris fields that forced Arcturian ships into predictable, evasive patterns. Their weapons were equally unconventional, Instead of destroying enemy vessels outright, they systematically disabled them in ways that showcased human technological superiority. Quantum filaments severed ships into neat sections, leaving crews alive but helpless. Temporal bubbles trapped other vessels in moments of frozen time, their crews conscious but unable to act. Some ships found their artificial gravity reversed, their own mass becoming a weapon against them. "This is not a battle," Torres transmitted. "This is a demonstration. Every ship we disable carries a message back to your counterattack. Humanity is not your prey." Valthor watched in mounting horror as his fleet was methodically dismantled. The ghost ships seemed to predict every counter-strategy, every desperate maneuver. Worse, they were clearly holding back, choosing not to destroy when they clearly could. "Fall back to minimum safe distance," he ordered. "Prepare for emergency temporal jump." 3 days after the Ghost Fleet's victory, the Arcturus Concordat's surviving leadership gathered in Earth's orbital diplomatic station. The crystalline beauty of their diplomatic vessel now seemed hollow, its elegance stripped away by defeat. Ambassador Zarin, once proud and imperious, stood humbled before the United Earth Council. Director Maxwell, her silver hair catching the light of distant Saturn's rings visible through the station's quantum glass, spoke first. "You came to our system bearing false friendship, hiding daggers behind diplomatic smiles. Now you stand before us, not as conquerors, but as witnesses to your own failure." The station's holographic displays activated, showing real-time footage from across the solar system. Disabled Arcturian ships were being systematically towed to a holding area near Titan, their crews transferred to temporary habitation spheres. The massive quantum net that had trapped their escape attempt now served as a containment field. "Your invasion fleet is neutralized," General Rodriguez continued, "but that's not why we've gathered you here. Today, you will understand exactly what you attempted to challenge." At her signal, the station's outer shields became transparent, revealing what had been hidden behind them. Hundreds of fabrication ships from Jupiter had arrived, working in perfect synchronization. They were dismantling the captured Arcturian vessels, not for salvage, but for something far more profound. "Watch carefully," Dr. Chen instructed, her voice carrying the weight of scientific certainty. "Your technology, which you thought so superior, is being reconstructed into something new, something better." Before the stunned Arcturian leadership, their mighty warships were transformed. The fabrication swarms broke them down to their constituent atoms, rebuilding them using human engineering principles. What emerged were ships that combined the best of both civilizations' technology, but with capabilities that exceeded either. "This," Director Maxwell announced, "is humanity's true power. Not just our ability to defend ourselves, but to adapt, to learn, to improve. Every weapon you brought against us has made us stronger. Every strategy you employed has taught us new tactics." Valthor, stripped of his command but still bearing his military dignity, asked the question that burned in all their minds. "Why show us this? Why not simply destroy us and be done?" Admiral Hassan stepped forward, her hologram projecting from her command post on Europa. "Because destruction is easy. Creation, true creation. That's the mark of an advanced civilization. We're showing you this so you understand. We isolated ourselves not out of weakness, but because we chose to develop on our own terms." The demonstration continued as the rebuilt ships performed maneuvers that should have been impossible, combining Arcturian antimatter technology with human quantum engineering. Each vessel was a testament to humanity's ability to not just defend, but to innovate and improve. "You will return to your Concordat," General Rodriguez declared. "Your ships will be restored to you, but not as they were. They are now proof of what happens when humanity is provoked. Let their improved capabilities serve as both a reminder and a warning." Ambassador Zarin, looking at the transformed fleet, finally understood. "You could have done this at any time. The diplomatic mission, our scans, you let us see what you wanted us to see." "Precisely," Director Maxwell confirmed. "Earth has faced extinction many times throughout our history. Each time, we emerged stronger. We didn't just survive, we learned to thrive on challenges. Your invasion wasn't a threat to our existence. It was an opportunity to demonstrate why we choose isolation. The final message was delivered not with weapons or threats, but with a gift. Each returning Arcturian ship would carry not just their defeated crews, but examples of human innovation. Their very journey home would demonstrate Earth's technological superiority and creative potential. Go, Hassan commanded. Return to your Concordat. Tell them what you witnessed here. And remember, Earth's isolation is not a weakness to be exploited, but a choice that should be respected. The next demonstration may not be so gentle. As the Arcturian leadership prepared to depart, Director Maxwell added one final thought. We will continue our solitary path among the stars, not because we fear what lies beyond, but because we understand something your Concordat has forgotten. True strength lies not in conquest, but in the wisdom to know when to leave others to their own destiny. The transformed ships departed Earth's orbit, each one a testament to humanity's capabilities and a warning to any who might follow in the Concordat's footsteps. In their wake, they left a solar system not weakened by war, but strengthened by challenge, its inhabitants more united and more determined than ever to forge their own path among the stars. Earth had not just defended itself, it had turned an invasion into an opportunity for growth. As the last Arcturian ship disappeared into the depths of space, humanity returned to its chosen isolation, not as prisoners of their solar system, but as masters of their own destiny.